Hello YouTube, I've got another high ELO ranked game here with the teams being Zac, Lux, Renekton, Leona, Draven versus Ryze, Caitlyn, Sona, Rengar, and Nautilus. So it looks like the lane matchups are going to be Zac versus Nautilus in the jungle. At top lane it is most likely Renekton versus Rengar. At mid lane, Lux versus Ryze. And at bottom lane it's going to be Leona, Draven versus Caitlyn and Sona. So as far as Summoner Spell goes, everybody's standard. Caitlyn is running a cleanse instead of ignite or barrier, and Ryze is running teleport. So that's a little out of the ordinary, but nothing too crazy. As far as high elo people here, the people I recognize are Uruk, Mazino, the one, Dude I'm an Asian, I think that's how you pronounce that, and the Captain America. Those are the ones that I recognize most readily. As far as the team comps here, we actually have a ton of CC here for this blue team. Like Renekton's got a stun, Leona's got a stun, Draven's got knock aside, Lux has a bind, Zac has a knockback. He's got lots of CC with his E and his ultimate, but lots of mobility here between all these champs. Ryze, we've got a bind. Caitlyn, like, the purple team is slightly more AD heavy just because, like, Ryze is magic damage, but, like, I don't know, should be relatively... Okay, so this game is resuming. World Cut. Welcome back to the game. Sorry, there was a little bit of a delay there. So here we go. I think I do have everybody matched up in the meantime while I did that, so... Whoop, a little bit of lag there. Sorry about that. And it looks like, without further ado, we're going to get this commentary started. So as far as initial items, nothing too out of the ordinary here. For the... let's take a quick look at what everybody's running for their masteries and whatnot. So let's take a quick look at the blue team. Zac is running... Looks like lots of magic pen, so it looks like I would guess 921 or yeah, 921 is probably my guess, because he does have a fair amount of HP. Looks like we might see a little bit of early game engagement here. The Sona is full, flashes over the wall just to make sure that she stays safe. So, okay, back to breaking this down. Lux probably 2109 is what I'm most expecting for the Renekton. Looks like he is got a lot of flat AD. 9021 probably with the armor pen spec. Leona looks like she is going full utility support, utility defensive. So probably either 0921 or 0219 or something in between. We'll see. Draven looks like they are running full armor pen, all sorts of stuff with a little bit of attack, but not too much. But that's mainly from that Doran's Blade, so nothing too out of the ordinary there. Looks like Draven and Leona will be starting with that small golem, so they will have a slight XP and gold advantage there. Ryze here looks like he is going 9021 is probably my guess, but I'm not quite sure. He does have 6% cooldown already, which means he has some inherent cooldown reduction. It's a little bit hard to tell. He doesn't have the spell vamp or anything like that. So he's either 2109 or 9021. I would probably guess 9021, but that's just how I build him. Okay, quick look. Caitlyn looks like she's going standard 219. Sona, full utility probably with a little bit of defensive tree. And Rengar looks like he is running 2109, and he does have quite a bit of lifesteal, so it looks like he has lifesteal Quince. And finally, Nautilus looks like he is 921 or some sort of combination of all the trees. He does have a fair amount of tankiness, and he doesn't have any inherent cooldown reduction, it looks like. Or he doesn't have very much regardless. So that's a quick look at what everybody's running. As far as the lane matchups, I expect Renekton to beat Rengar, but it's all going to depend on how well Rengar uses those bushes. As far as mid lane, Lux is going to have a little bit more lane control, but Ryze is probably going to... Once Lux gets to like level 3 or 4, I think she's going to start having an advantage, and it looks like we're going to see a gank here from this Zac. Manages to land the giant mobility that he does have. There is the exhaust trying to cut the distance. Caitlyn doing a little bit of poking there, bringing that Leona super low, getting the first blood, and down she goes to the Draven there, only giving up 2. managing to come ahead there, but unfortunately the Draven did manage to stay alive here, so he is going to start getting a slight advantage. Back in mid lane, looks like we saw a small gank here from the Lux, managing to fall back, but doing a little bit of poke there on the Rise. Looks like Rengar is forced back at this early point in the game, but Renekton does have a lot of sustain there with his Call of the Meek. So, and it looks like a lot of damage going here down on the Sun. I'm going to be forcing her back just a little bit there, but nothing too crazy going on there. Zac looks like he tried to do a little bit of a gank here at the mid lane, but nothing seemed to happen from it. So on her first back, looks like Caitlyn decided to buy a longsword there. So just a little bit of additional damage. She also got those boots, so should allow for a little increased mobility, but it looks like Draven decided to go with the increased sustain there, going for the quick Vamp Scepter with no boots. So pretty calm game so far. It looks like we might see a little double gank action here going down at mid. It looks like Draven is gonna, not Draven, Nautilus is coming in for the gank, and here comes Zac here for the counter gank. And Lux taking a lot of damage. Here comes the Zac here with the dash in, doing quite a bit of damage there. Lux trying to do what she can from range, but both of them were brought relatively low. So that's going to force them back. Zac is really cool character play because his ability to dive is absolutely incredible. And his mobility with his E, assuming he levels it first, which I think is the proper way to go. Putting a couple points in W and leveling E first, I think is the best way to go. But it looks like he's put 1 point in each, putting 2 points into that W just for that increased clear speed. But now I will expect him to max that E first, unless he just wants to go for massive clear speed, and then W is the way to go. But Q is one of those, you either max it last or first, because it doesn't do much unless you max it, and it just provides kind of an additional passive proc, and it's, I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun with Zac right now. He is way too much fun to play. Way too much fun. All of his abilities, he's just a hoot a holler and half. So as far as CS goes, Caitlyn is slightly ahead of this Draven, but Draven looks like he's a little ahead in terms of XP. But Leona is also part of the reason why she's been robbed a little bit of XP. So it looks like at top, not much is going on. We'll probably see a gank here somewhere. This Zac looks like he might be trying to do something here, maybe on the Rise, but we'll see. Because he's got a ticket to Rise. Oh God, bad songs. Well, I guess it's a good song, just when I make fun of it that way, it's not very good. Anyway, here comes the Zac with a gank here at this bottom lane, this mid lane. Manages to land the W there, doing a little bit of damage, but Rise does a little bit of damage in response, and so not much really happened there with that gank, forcing him to miss out on a little CS, but other than that, not too much happening. Bottom lane is pushing out fairly aggressively and towards this turret. And by the way, I'm like 99% sure this is a custom game, so. But a lot of high ELO people, so we're gonna keep watching it regardless. So yeah, as far as CS goes, everybody's very even so far. Rise has just a small advantage, and here comes a gank here on the Nautilus. Zac trying to do a little bit of counter. Oh no, Nautilus is counter jungling here, and Zac manages to catch him, doing a little bit of damage. Rise is coming though, doing a little bit of damage, but unfortunately Rise isn't very strong at this early phase of the game. Like, he does a little bit, but to be perfectly honest, he doesn't do that much until he starts getting level 6, level 7. And but he does have that tier, and he's building it up fairly quickly. It looks like Renekton decided to come down and try and do a little bit of a gank, but not much happened there. Caitlyn is just poking away at this bottom turret here. This blue team is in desperate need of a gank here. Sona's doing a nice job poking. Caitlyn gets initiated on, taking a little bit of damage there from both of them, but that Leona gets brought incredibly low and goes down to the trap, but Sona manages to pick up the kill, actually. So we're going to back it up so we can see this engage here going on in the jungle. Looks like Renekton and Rengar are duking it out just a little bit, but incoming, Lux gets caught a little bit out of position chasing there, and starts getting absolutely destroyed by the three of them, and down goes the Zac and it looks like they're going to take the time to kill his little minions, and a double kill for the Rengar. So nice little small advantage here at this early game for this purple team. The Nautilus is doing a really good job of showing lane presence where he needs to. So, and it looks like he is going to take yet another blue here. They're stealing the blue team's blue, which is going to be actually very significant. So, looks like he decided to take it instead of Rengar. Because Rengar, yeah, the cooldown is nice, but it doesn't get that much. And it looks like Caitlyn is going to take this early bottom turret here at about probably on the next wave. So maybe about 9 minutes in. Nope. Looks like she's going to take it right here. Right here. Right now. And down it goes to the Sona, but that's going to provide an even more of a gold advantage for this purple team here. Sorry about that. It's a little windy out and my front door just opened, so I'll keep going here, but I just got to keep an eye on it, make sure nobody comes in and tries to hijack my place. Anyway, sorry, we'll back it up here just so we can see this Rengar-Renekton battle here. Renekton doing a nice engage there. Ignite manages to get the double strike there. I forget what it's called, Ruthless Predator, and manages to pick up that kill very readily with the help of Ignite. And here comes Nautilus. I don't think he's going to be able to do much here besides defend the lane just a little bit, but I don't think he's going to be able to get this kill at all. Renekton's just got really good sustain, and when Nautilus' shield goes down, he's just not able to do nearly as much damage, and he doesn't have very good sustain. See, he's just slowly getting work down here, but he's preventing that lane from getting pushed on too hard there by showing that lane presence, clearing those minion waves. And it looks like blue team is going to get this early game dragon, try and get a little bit of a comeback from the disadvantage that they are at. But here comes Sona and Caitlyn doing a little bit of poke, managing to bring this Leona very low. Almost gets the kill, forced the flash away, and Ryze manages to pick up the kill, even though Caitlyn was ulting. Manages to force that Zac to E over the wall instead of backing like he wanted to. So Nautilus here getting a red buff so he can gank a little bit more readily, and it looks like we're seeing all sorts of play all across the board. So yeah, as far as items go, sorry about that little lull there. I had a little frog in my throat. Looks like the Caitlyn does have that BF sword, so she is going to have some pretty considerable amounts of damage, and the Rengar is going for that quick Bilgewater Cutlass, most likely into a Blade of the Rune King there. And it looks like Zac is going for that quick clear time, going for that Spirit Stone, and he's probably going to build that into that, what is that, Spirit of the Elder Spirit one, whichever one gives the Smite decrease cooldown rid. But other than that, it looks like Lux is going to be going for that quick Grail here, so. But yeah, the items, nothing too exciting going on, and there's a nice little lull in the combat here, so we can do a little bit of a catch-up here. The biggest thing, that purple team has a very strong, actually, wombo combo here with the Sona Ryze. Sorry, I kind of lost control of my camera there. With that wombo combo, it's a little scary, and down goes the Rengar there, just got a little bit out of position there. Even though he tried to stealth away. There is the Sona ultimate managing to stun, but Zac does his dash in, and this Sona is going to go down. Nothing to do much about it, but this Ryze teleports in, managing to pick up the Leona, and down goes the Sona there to that Zac, but now this Caitlyn, this Zac is on the run here, afraid for this Lux, and we'll see what this Zac decides to do here. Looks like he's going to try and do a little bit of damage here on this Caitlyn, but maybe he's just going to go, yeah, just going to go for the escape. So Draven is still there, but Lux ultimate does go down, but whiffs everybody, so not much to do there. So Nautilus just clearing the top wave there to prevent it from pushing too much on that top turret. As far as CS goes, looks like Rengar is a little bit behind that Renekton, and it looks like Ryze is actually substantially far ahead of this Lux. Because Lux hasn't gotten a kill yet, and she's died, and this Ryze is actually starting to get a little bit fed. And yeah, solid game so far. It looks like this Renekton is going to go down. A nice little engage there, a little bush gank there from the Nautilus. Manages to ensure that kill. Sorry for that thump. Trying to rearrange and stay comfortable while I do this commentary. It's been a long game so far just because we had that like 10 minutes of pause, which I am going to edit out, obviously. So, and it looks like bottom lane poking away at each other. Caitlyn doing some nice damage there on that Leona. So, and yeah, solid game so far. Purple team is starting to come out with a slight advantage. Manages to get the Zac. What happened on that Zac there? Oh, he goes for the engage, trying to save the turret. Coming in, doing a little bit of damage there, but starts taking some pretty steady damage. Just gets absolutely wrecked by everybody. Tries to run away, forcing some damage, bringing that Rengar just a little bit low, but unfortunately overestimates that amount that he could stay alive there underneath the turret, just because he decided to go. I personally think it's better to go with Zach not rushing that Spirit of Spectral Wraith so quickly, but instead getting like a Giant Spell fairly early, and also boots mobility, just so you can gank and show lane presence a little bit more. So purple team gets yet another turret here, so their gold advantage is now up to about 3k in their favor. So things are starting to look not dire, but a little bit down, little rough here for this blue team. So it looks like Sona and Caitlyn are going to be coming towards this mid turret. It looks like they're going to try and do some sort of gank here on this Lux. We need to be very, very careful. That Ryze is playing very aggressive, but here comes the Sona, and Caitlyn starting to do just a little bit of damage. Manages to hit the very edge of that ultimate, and Caitlyn's going to pick up the kill there with an auto attack, but she is going to go down there to the turret, giving Lux a kill. Zach is coming up from behind, and here comes Draven and Leona as well, so we're going to see a 3v3 engage here. Caitlyn just, I don't think she realized that that turret was engaging on here, and there is the engage there from the Zach. Zach there, doing pretty considerable amounts of damage. Leona manages to go down there to the ignite there, but this blue team is still going strong here. Ryze comes in from the side doing some pretty nice damage, and Nautilus is doing some pretty incredible damage as well. Ryze, but he's a little bit out of position. It looks like he is going to go down to this Renekton. Nope, to the Draven, but they managed to get a couple kills, and purple team is coming out ahead here, and there is a delayed ace there for this purple team. A very delayed ace, and down goes the Nautilus, manages to get the kill. Zach gets gets a kill as well. So Lux is going to be able to defend this turret, but unfortunately for blue team, it looks like they're starting to have a little bit of trouble. They are 3k, a little bit over 3k gold behind. So, and Dragon should be coming back up here relatively shortly, so we should see yet another Dragon engagement here come. As far as the items go, nothing too much out of the ordinary. Renekton deciding to go with the Giant Spell Chain Vest, most likely building that into a Sunfire Cape, but he could be building that into a couple different items. Lux doing a lot of burst here on this Caitlyn, but Caitlyn also doing some pretty considerable damage, forcing her to fall back just because Lux had burned all of her spells, and Caitlyn, she does have the power of auto attacks behind her, so. And so it looks like that Lux is going to fall back. Caitlyn trying to get a little bit of sustain here from the auto attacks and her sustain from that Vampiric Scepter. Looks like Draven's just clearing away at these bottom turrets, but Caitlyn is substantially far ahead. She is 20 CS, and she does have quite a few more assists and less deaths under her belt compared to this Draven, so. And that Leona, what was up with that flash, Leona? That was kind of crazy. Anyway, Caitlyn goes down there to the Draven ultimate, and now blue team does have a slight advantage. Let's see if they can get this dragon here. Sona getting caught a little bit out of position, forced to exhaust that Draven in order to make sure she gets away safely. And Rengar gets caught a little bit out of position. Leona manages to engage upon him. Zach's trying to do what he can to keep the Leona alive, but down goes the Leona regardless. Rengar does go down in the process, but Zach gets brought incredibly low, manages to bait, but Ryze gets the kill. And now this Draven is in a world of trouble here. He might be able to get the Sona if he plays this right. Manages to flash over the wall, pick up the kill, but that ultimate manages to keep him under guards, and the flash ensures the kill there because he managed to jump over that stand aside, but no dragon for anybody there. But purple team manages to, I don't know, come out ahead but hold their own because blue team had an advantage over that. So yeah, Lux deciding to head towards that top lane, clear that out to prevent it from pushing too much, and then head back to her well in order to buy some more items. So it looks like Draven does have that Bloodthirster now, so he's going to start doing some pretty considerable amounts of damage. Oh, looks like Caitlyn is actually going to be going for that IE first instead of the Bloodthirster, just relying on the sustain from that Vampiric Scepter. Rengar slowly working his way towards that Blade of the Rune King, and Renekton with that Brutalizer now, he's going to actually have some pretty substantial damage. Looks like he is also building a Merc Treads, so. Zach does have that Ninja Tabby to prevent a lot of this auto attack damage between the Rengar and the Caitlyn and the Nautilus, but only so much is going to happen. Sona dropping a pink ward there to prevent that blue team vision here, but blue team is coming. Here comes the Nautilus, drops a ward over the wall, and we might see an engage, but Nautilus misses the pull there. But that's going to prevent Nautilus getting a little bit far ahead of there. Going to take a little bit of damage, but Caitlyn's doing a nice job, and we're going to see this dragon fight happen here, it looks like. So we're going to drop the mini-map and see what happens here. Lux managing to land a bind there, doing a little bit of poke there. Zach initiating on the back line there, doing some pretty considerable damage. Leona managing to come through, Renekton picking up the kill there on the Sona. And it looks like we're just seeing a steady engage here. But blue team has the advantage here. Managing to pick up that Sona before she ults is pretty significant. And it looks like purple team is split up here, forcing. They're trying to delay as much as possible, letting Caitlyn poke near as much as she can here. And blue team looks like they're going to initiate on the dragon here, starting to bring that down. But purple team is going to keep playing around here. Nautilus ultimate going down there. Ryze trying to do a little bit of damage. Caitlyn is now back with the team. Ryze manages to pick up the kill there on the Zac. So now it is a 4v4, but unfortunately Lux manages to pick up that Nautilus, so it's back down to a 4v3. But blue team is relatively low. But Lux can do a good job poking, but Caitlyn is low enough to force them back, and unfortunately they don't want to engage when it's a possible 2v4 if Lux manages to get her ultimate back up before that engage happens. So both teams decide to run away from that dragon fight. And, purple team decides to head back. It looks like they're going to get an uncontested dragon here. There's the initiation. Lux is there, so she might be able to snipe this with her abilities. Manages to throw everything out, and boom, steals the dragon. Very well done there, but from that Lux. Very well done. It's what we expected. She's actually one of the few champions that I believe can consistently steal that dragon, just because she can throw out all of her spells at once and do pretty incredible bursts there with her E ultimate and her Q. So can be pretty ridiculous, and plus they didn't have any vision over the... Oh, they did have vision over the wall. Interesting. Anyway, just a nice little play there. As far as item goes, Ryze does have that Roa now, so he will start getting some pretty formidable damage. Lux deciding to go for the Grail into the hat, so she actually has pretty substantial burst now, and I bet she gets the Grail here very shortly. So, and Leona looks like she's going to be building an Aegis next, and looks like Draven looks like he's building an Infinity Edge. Not an Infinity Edge, I'm sorry, Phantom Dancer. But yeah, it looks like a small engagement here going down on the Draven. He's doing some pretty considerable amounts of damage, but Ryze manages to pick up the kill there. Just the lack of wards there manages to allow them to sneak up behind, get the kill there with that bind, and it looks like they're going to pause the game yet again. What is going on here? Why is this game paused yet again? Not quite sure why, but they decided to pause this game once again, and here we're going back into it. So yeah, this is definitely a custom game, but with a lot of high ELO people, so we're going to keep going with it. So purple team does have a slight advantage here. They are about 3k, a little under 3k gold ahead, and with that Blade the Rune King on Rengar and Infinity Edge on Caitlyn, that's actually some pretty substantial buys. Ryze deciding to get a needlessly large rod. Not quite sure what he's going to build that into. I haven't seen... I usually build the mana-intensive tanky Ryze, not the AP-intensive Ryze that we're seeing here. But we'll see what happens. AP coefficients do a lot for his spell flux, so... we'll see what happens there. And it looks like Zac is now building an Aegis, but we'll see. Maybe he'll build that into something else. But purple team, looks like we're starting to see them dance around, maybe see a little bit of a team fight here in this red side of the blue team's red side. So, but I'm not quite sure what exactly is going on there. Looks like we're seeing a 3-man push here on this mid turret. So I don't know. They're just kind of dancing around. It's really hard to get a feel for it. Rengar doing a pretty substantial amount of damage to the Zac, going to force him back, but I think Zac's passive is back up here. So lots of damage going on the Rengar with the help of that Leona, and down goes the Rengar there to the bouncing blob. Here we go, Flubba. And it looks like purple team is going to keep pushing here on this mid turret, using that advantage now that it is a 4v5. Hold up, Rengar was on purple team. What am I doing here? Like, I don't know why they're pushing. Like, they probably can't contest this. Ryze is top, so we have a 3v4 at this mid turret. It looks like they're just going to keep pushing. They do realize that this Nautilus is here, and it looks like that's going to force him back, and everybody is just kind of dancing around right now. It's really hard to see what exactly is going on here. There's kind of a lack of coordination for both teams here. Lux manages to escape from everything there. Draven doing a little bit of damage there to the Nautilus, but nothing too formidable or notable. Meanwhile, at bottom lane, Caitlyn is clearing that minion wave, trying to prevent and save this turret for as long as possible, because purple team hasn't lost a turret yet, and blue team is down 3. Oops, sorry, bumping the mic there. This has been kind of a weird game, but mainly it's because it's a custom, I think, and these teams are just kind of skirmishing against one another, so it's been kind of a strange game so far. Looks like Renekton is the furthest ahead here in terms of gold. He is at 7.5k. Oh, nope, Ryze is actually very, very fed. I didn't realize how fed the Ryze was, but he is very substantially fed at this point. So yeah, a pretty calm game here. As far as the players here, there's not much. Captain American, I think I've spectated a couple games of his, but it looks like he is ulting. It looks like he might try and do some sort of engage here. Stealthing in. It looks like he might try to pick up the Lux, but unfortunately it doesn't produce itself. So, and Draven now does have that Phantom Dancer, so he does have a formidable amount of movement speed and crit chance, so his damage is going to be starting to get pretty hefty here. But Caitlyn with that IE has actually got pretty substantial RNG, so it's going to be a little bit more dangerous here for the blue team, because if she gets a couple crits in a row, those crits are going to hurt really badly. So both of the supports do have those sight stones, so they do have a considerable amount of vision on the ground. Looks like both of them are starting to realize that Baron is going to come into play here very, very shortly. We are 23 minutes into this game, even though it's felt like an eternity because of those pauses, but what can you do? And Nautilus, he got that Locket of Iron Solari quite a while ago, but now he's getting a Giant Spell, most likely probably building that into either a Sunfire Cape or probably a Warmogs is what I most likely expect, just because that massive amount of health really scales well with his damage and shield. Rengar and Renekton are really duking it out, but this Rengar's in a little bit of hurt here. But Rengar manages to bind him and allows him to get away very, very safely. Blue team just dancing around. There's just not much going on here. Like, I don't understand why. Maybe they're just having fun, just talking, blah, 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 but I'm seeing there's just a lot of lollygagging or just dancing around the map here. Not much is really going on. Nobody's really pushing. I guess they're waiting for this dragon to come back up here. But we shall see when that happens. Zach dropping a ward here. All sorts of wards here are revealing. But that pink ward at that dragon entrance is going to be enough. Rengar jumping in on this Renekton, and that red buff is going to start shredding away at this Renekton. But we'll see if he has enough to bring it down. That Sunfire Cape does prevent a lot of damage, and him just dancing around waiting for his cooldowns to come back is going to be pretty substantial. Manages to jump over the wall, back onto there. There's the Ignite. Going to be able to pick up this kill, and it looks like we're seeing a team fight dance around here while purple team engages. Nautilus manages to land the hook there, and this is going to be the start of this team fight. Sona manages to land a beautiful ultimate on 3 champions there, but Draven does a nice ultimate in counter response. Lux doing all sorts of damage, but Ryze manages to pick the kill on Leona. Draven manages to pick up the Sona. Ryze manages to pick up the Zac there. Lux manages to land a nice bind there, bringing down a lot of the team there with only Nautilus there at relatively close to full, and the goal advantage is starting to get more and more in favor of this purple team, and we'll see if Lux manages to steal this dragon yet again. It is low, but she doesn't have her ultimate. Throws out the E, but unfortunately it's too late, and Rengar manages to steal that top lane while all this is going on. Lux gets engaged upon, and Draven tries to flash away here, gets brought incredibly low, manages to almost pick up that Caitlyn there. The bleed's going to bring her very, very low, but I think she is going to get away just fine. Lux escaping as well. So now this gold advantage is a little over 6.5k. Yeah. A little over 6.5k for a purple team, so a little rough here. As far as items goes, nothing too much. It looks like Renekton is now going for that sustained damage. Looks like he's going to be building a Blade of the Rune King here very, very shortly. And Ryze manages to get a Mana Moon. Interesting, and that immediately builds into your mana. It's actually a very interesting build decision to do, because it does make it so he burns through mana, but it does increase his immediate damage. It just makes it so his sustained damage is he has, unless he has blue buff, he has problems with mana control, because every time he does burn one of those single target spells, so his Q, his W, all of those spells, it burns like 3% of his mana plus the mana cost. So it provides a lot of damage, but it just, because look at that, it's doing 167 additional damage there per auto attack. but it's a debate. Seraph's Embrace is a much more defensive item on Rise. Like, it does provide more sustained damage. It provides a little bit more damage also on his spell flux, which when he's ulting can actually do some pretty considerable amounts of damage. But in terms of single target burst, Mirror Mana is a much better item. But the other downside is you also lose the Seraph's Embrace active effect, which actually gives you a lot more tankiness. And with the Spell Vamp, you can actually do some pretty crazy baiting with it if you do it properly, because you can get down to about a third of your health, and if you get any more additional Spell Vamp, you can actually bring yourself back up to full very, very quickly with the Seraph's Embrace shield and then ulting. But a lot of this Rise looks like he's going fairly tanky, and I'm actually a little disturbed to not see him have any cooldown reduction so far, but manages to pick up that kill there on the Zac, and this is going to put blue team in a little bit of trouble here. Sona all going down, manages to clip 2 of the carries there. Draven goes down, Lux goes down, and this is going to be bad. This is most likely an inhibitor for this blue team that's going to drop. Renekton doing what he can to defend here, and not a single person goes down for this purple team. Beautiful engage there. Sona doing a very nice job of engaging that and locking up 2 of the carries, and now purple team is going to take down this tier 3 turret with Rise tanking. It's going to be fairly tanky, and down is going to go this inhibitor, because the first person up is going to be the Zac, but he doesn't have that much damage yet, and so he is going to be unable to defend this fairly readily from this purple team. So down goes the inhibitor, and purple team should head back immediately, and I wouldn't be surprised if blue team immediately heads towards Baron to try and deal with that, but that's going to be entirely up to them. It looks like they're not going to do it, but that would be the wise decision. Wait for all 5 of them to be up, and then immediately head towards that Baron. So it looks like Nautilus decided to go with that Sunfire Cape for that additional sustained damage there for the team. It looks like blue team is pushing up this mid turret. Not quite sure what exactly they're going to decide to do here, but it will be happening shortly. It looks like they're just farming up, getting a little bit more gold. Caitlyn has some of the highest CS in the game. Renekton closely follows. Rise is at the highest, and this Rise has a very considerable amounts of gold right now. He's at 12,000 gold. 12,000. The closest one for purple team, for this blue team, is 9.5k on the Renekton. That's how substantial this gold advantage is at. They're at a little over 10k in purple team's favor, just because they managed to get that ace there with like 4 assists, and Sona with this Oracles is going to be able to clear this map fairly effectively. It looks like she's leaving quite a few wards here. Kind of funny. Well, we're going to back it up just so we can see that Rengar engage here on the Lux. How did this happen? Did Rengar just ult? He ults, gets vision, and jump. Boom goes the dynamite, just doing incredible amounts of damage to that Lux just because she doesn't have that much armor. And he just shreds her. Absolutely shreds her. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that video, but there's some pretty awesome videos of Rengar with Sword of the Divine. I've only done it a couple times, but oh my gosh, that is some of the most fun you'll ever have. Is because what you can do is you ultimate. It looks like purple team is going to be doing this Baron buff. Is you ultimate in, and you'll get right next to the person you want to assassinate. Usually a very squishy that has low armor. And then what you do is you pop Sword of the Divine, and then you double Q them. And since Sword of the Divine guarantees crits, you can do like 1,200 damage spikes over the course of a second. And it's absolutely ridiculous because he'll just pop out of nowhere, and unless they have oracles or really nice pink wards and stuff like that, like there's not much you can do. Holy crap, that Rise is destroying that Draven. Purple team is just in such a clear advantage here, and this blue team, they just don't have much going for them there. Sona doing a nice ultimate there, but nobody's there to actually really do much with it, and this Caitlyn is now a little bit out of position. With this Baron buff, though, they can afford to do these extended engages and manage to pick up all sorts of kills. Lux doing some nice damage to this Rengar, but I think Rengar is going to get away, and down it goes the Leona. This gold advantage is really starting to show. This Lux doing all she can, but she unfortunately cannot do too much more to save her team. That shield's going to be able to save her for a little bit, but she is going to go down to this Nautilus. Down she goes to the Sunfire Cape. And now purple team is pushing. They're going to get a second inhib here, poking away at the Zac. I don't know why they're doing that. They should start. I guess they don't want the game quite to end. I guess they're talking. Oh, and there's the surrender vote. Caitlyn diving in on the well. Sona going as well. Zac getting a double kill, but with that surrender going down, not much that can happen. Not much can happen. So I hope you guys did enjoy this custom game between a lot of high elo and diamond level players. I had a lot of fun with it. So welcome to YouTube. Feel free to let me know down in the comment section below what you liked, what you disliked. Hit that like button, favorite, subscribe, share if you really liked it. And I'd like to thank you one more time for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.